Hi, Sarah.
Hi, is it on?
How are you doing today?
I'm okay.
What brings you in?
Well, I just wanted to chat about my kids, although they're precious and perfect. Um, we've just been, my husband and I have just been kind of stressed out lately with the kids' behaviors because it's kind of becoming challenging to maintain our cool.
How old are your kids?
3 and 21 months.
Ooh, they are at a challenging
Yeah.
age.
Yeah.
So what's going on with the behaviors?
Well, so Charlie is our oldest, and Bo is our youngest, and Charlie, I think, is just beginning to assert her independence, maybe. And I think it's mostly like when she's tired or like when she's overstimulated, like feeling overwhelmed. It's like, well, it's like I was saying, it's like she's like the exorcist. She's just like, I'm like, where did my perfect little girl go? Because she'll like start screaming and making really strange noises that sometimes are hard not to laugh at, which then makes the situation worse. And she'll like scream, make loud noises. And generally, like between Brandon and I, one of us will like be able to maintain our cool. Then the other one will get frustrated. So then you have one parent who's frustrated with the child, and then the other parent is frustrated with the spouse. So it's like this kind of terrible Bermuda Triangle of escalated emotions. So it just gets overwhelming.
So what is overwhelming, the behavior itself, or that like Brandon's usually the one? I guess I'm trying to think of, so what does Brandon do when he gets frustrated? Like, is it?
Oh my god, he's an asshole. But to be fair, I'm really biased. No, I love him. He's awesome. He's amazing. But he just gets really. I feel like sometimes and to be fair, like I mean, sometimes I am too. But like I feel like his like he's so quick to just like get irritated, and then when he's irritated, there's no like talking to him. Like he becomes really rigid, and it has to be done a certain way. So instead of trying to be like flexible and like meet Charlie where she's at, or just ignore her, or like let it play out, and then let things de-escalate, he is like, no, it's got to be done. Like she needs to listen. She needs to knock it off. Like last night we had dinner at a friend's house, and Charlie was like, I knew right away when I picked her up from daycare she was exhausted and she was a sweaty, disgusting mess. But she was really tired, so I knew she was really tired, but she was really excited to go to her friend's house because they have a little girl who is a week older than Charlie, so they play really well together. And it's hard to do anything during the week because with work, it starts later anyways. So we didn't even get over to our friend's house until like 6, and so it was us, the friend's house that we were at, and then another one of our good friends. So between the 3 families, there were 8 kids that had to get fed. So we like got all the kids fed, and then the parents got to like sit down and eat, and the kids just kind of like played and whatever. So we stayed really late. Like we didn't even actually end up leaving there until I don't think we got home until 8. And we still had to do baths, like, because there was no way we couldn't not do baths because of how disgusting they were. So Charlie was like super tired, and by the time we were leaving, is actually like Charlie's generally already in bed for 15 minutes. So she was just like really tearful and like crying and like making the weird Wookiee noises. And Brandon went to put her in her car seat, and she started like kicking her feet really hard and was like kicking the back of the seat and was like crying because she wanted some milk or some yogurt, I don't know, a dairy product. And Brandon just immediately was like really irritated and annoyed with her and was like, knock it off, like you don't be acting like this. And I'm holding Bo, who is just like this wiggly little monster and like wants to touch everything. And then Brandon was like yelling at Charlie, and then he was frustrated with me because I was like trying to talk to Charlie to like calm her down and just like reassure her. That's okay, we're gonna go home. like help her understand what we were doing. And then Brandon got mad at me because I didn't go across the street to put Bo in his truck because we had driven separately. Got mad at me because I was just standing there doing nothing, and I'm like, well, I can't. So you want me to go across the street with this child and tuck him in the truck and then what? Leave him there to come back over here, or are you gonna leave Charlie here while she's like screaming and making a spectacle? I thought that I was being helpful by standing here.
So I hear you're frustrated with two people, your daughter's behavior, but even more so Brandon's.
I think it's more so his response to situations, I guess, because she's 3. Like, she's gonna throw a temper tantrum. She's not gonna respond or react how we want her to all the time because she's 3 and she's learning. And part of our job as parents is to like teach them and train them, you know, with the social skills and healthy coping skills and stuff. And
so is Brandon willing to, like, after the fact, like after or even before, like when you pick Charlie up and you're like, I know it's coming, I can see it in her, I know she's tired, is Brandon willing to have that conversation with you before she starts her, like, Brandon, you know what, it's going to be a crazy night with her, I can already see it, she's exhausted, can we work together and handle this before you get mad at her, before it's ultimately too late?
I guess I never really thought about, like, because to be fair, I didn't really warn him because I had picked the kids up and then he just met us there. So I didn't really say anything to him, and he didn't really, like, I fed her and he fed Bo, so he didn't really, like, interact with her very much. So maybe if I had said something to him or just, like, given him a heads up, maybe he would have been.
Or just say, like, we need to work together on this.
Yeah.
Because that could just feed her tantrum if you guys are
bickering.
Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't help. Because then this morning was a rough morning because we went to bed mad. The whole marital advice of don't go to bed mad is crap shit. Because then I was pouting, so that doesn't help. But
yeah.
But he did call to apologize.
Oh, nice.
Over lunch, so that made me feel better.
So then maybe tonight when she's not throwing her fit, you guys could just talk about it.
Yeah.
And just like, hey, how can we handle this better? Because it makes her worse, it gets us mad. We go to bed mad, it doesn't help anybody out. I guess to see what his response would be, if he'd be willing to, like, hey, I can read her, if I can give you a heads up, just so we can work together. Or maybe he just be like, I'm giving you heads up, Charlie's probably gonna have one of her moments tonight, so maybe you either work on it with me or you just walk away, like him as in walking away. I guess for options, like, then he can determine what his best strategy is going to be.
That's a good idea. I didn't, because I mean we've like talked about it after the fact, but sometimes I think it's hard because he feels like I'm being blameful, and I'm sure I am. You know, like, you know, I feel like I'm just talking to him about it. I'm sure I come off as like nagging or something, but
I'm sure because you're both mad, frustrated, whatever.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I should try that. Especially since I'm talking to him now.
So tonight can be the warm fuzzy. Thanks for apologizing. How can we make this better?
That's right. We can have a very adult follow-up conversation.
After the kids go to bed.
Yes.
Have a nice conversation.
Yes.
All right, I think we're good.
All right, thank you.